50 research articles published in books, journals at national and international conferences. You have won several awards for academic excellence and several prizes and certificates of merit in various sports, arts, and science competitions. So I welcome you, sir, and I give the session to you next. Take over. Thank you, sir.
Very good afternoon to one and all, and thank you, madam, for your kind words. I hope that I'm properly audible, or is there any problem?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, I see some message that people are saying that voice is not clear. So just wanted to make sure that it is.
Also, your voice is very low. Shani madam, sound is
Yes,
coming from your, I think, from your system.
Okay, so now may I request to pass me the sharing rights to me so that I can share my PPT with all of you. Just let me know whether my screen is visible.
yes, sir, it is.
I am testing.
Yes.
Waiting.
Hello. Yeah, I am. Can someone just give me the feedback whether my screen is like entirely visible?
Yes, sir, the screen is visible from here.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So once again, very good afternoon, everyone, and really sorry. I mean, I was stuck with some system problem, so couldn't start on time. But anyway, so today's basically I'm going to discuss about like ICT tools for effective teaching and learning.
मैडम आपकी इधर से आवाज
So
क्यों आ रही है? जैसे आप चालू कर रहे हो ना आवाज आ रही है.
hello, yeah, my voice is clear, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so about this ICT tools for effective teaching and learning, so madam has already given like my background, but couple of points that I just wanted to mention, that my initial research, and I may say that my entire career actually, I have built in wireless networks. So basically my research area is like wireless networks, like designing ad hoc sensor network, IoT, cognitive radio, and all those like a wireless technology. But from 2015-16 onwards, I have started to focus more on educational technology, and related to that, we have done multiple kind of like experience experiments, and then we have like I may say quite good, I may say, the experience maybe around like a 6 to 5 years experience we have in this particular area. And then we also have like a multiple kind of success stories related to that. So in today's presentation, whatever so far like we have experienced, and whatever we feel that it could be a benefit to students community or to a teaching community, that I just wanted to present to all of you. So before coming down to tools and other thing, maybe I'll take like a couple of minutes to just give you the background. So I wanted to thanks to IIT Bombay X, Coursera, ADX, various UN reports, especially from education branch, and there are many more technical white papers. So many like resources are available. So I have gone through many papers and this thing, because I was a bit curious that as an engineer we all are like trained as a professional, and it was never thought that maybe any engineer is going to teach the engineering subject to budding engineers, right? So I think that particular training part is missing in our curricula. So when we start our like a teaching, obviously we generally teach from the engineering perspective. And I think in other branch of courses, just for example, let's say it's a commerce or a management or maybe arts. So there is a specialized course, we call it as a B.Ed, where people have to go undergo that particular like a training. They learn lots of techniques and lots of tools about that, how to deliver the content. So this particular part is, I guess, maybe missing in engineering. And because of that, I think I have to relearn so many different skills and other things. So these are some of the sources I have referred to, I may say, to gain some knowledge in educational like technology. And at the end of my presentation, I have also given the links and other things. So I'm sure if some of you are interested to go through those links and to do certain courses, so that recommendation list is available. Maybe all of you can look at it at the later part of this presentation. So currently I'm working as a chief academic officer and a professor at Vidyalankar Institute of Technology. So my job is to make sure that all academic stuffs and academic related activities are conducted in a smooth way. So one of the function is to introduce many new innovative like teaching tools or innovative, I may say, the teaching methodology. So I constantly work on this particular like a part. Okay, so before I start, just wanted to give you a very brief idea about like my institute. So we are Vidyalankar Institute of Technology. We are located at the center of the Mumbai. We are located in Vadala, very near to Dadar. I can say if you just come by cab, it will hardly take like a 10 minutes to reach to our college. It's a very beautiful 11-acre campus, and we have like many branches, especially in UG. We have information technology, computer engineering, electronics and telecommunication, biomedical engineering, and then we also run four basically PG program, three in technology and one as a MMS management. And we also run a PhD program, especially in computer engineering, computer science. So on an average, I may say that 3,000 plus students are actually there in our like a campus. And recently in 2009, actually we got our NAC accreditation. In the first cycle itself, we got A plus grade, and majority of our departments are accredited by NBA twice. So that's, I can say, background about like my institute. So let's start with the today's talk. So starting with this, today I'm going to talk about like a three important thing. Number one, the new role of teachers. So this particular part has been like not new. I mean, from many years, people have been telling that now the role of teacher is changing, and we have to come out of that particular like a mindset that as a teacher I just need to go to the class and take conduct the classes, do some kind of evaluation, and that's all. My role is over there. But I may say that thing that the new role of a teacher is much more complex, and it works at a multiple layer. So to understand that what are the things that we have to do, so that also we need to understand. And anyway, COVID is like not a good thing, but because of the COVID there are many new processes, or I may say the many new things which have been changed. So in I may say the role of a teachers, COVID has helped us to expedite that particular like a process. Now even teachers, now they realize that okay, now we have to do much more than just only like a simple teaching. So that I think uh, it's percolated to all teacher. Many teacher have understood that thing. They have started their preparation according to that. In the second part, I'll be talking about some of the ICT tools along with some demo. I mean, I don't think so that we have generally enough time to cover all this thing, but maybe few important tools which you can easily implement in your curricula that will be taking. So that's will be the main 2 points for my talk. Now when we are talking about this thing, it is better we also understand some basic definitions. So in teaching model, there are basically three types of model. One is a teacher centric. I think many of us will we are well aware what is teacher centric. When we talk about like a teacher centric model, it is entire activity, entire teaching learning process is been driven by teacher. So teacher is a main driving force, and teacher controls all the particular like activity. So when we are coming to the student centric, so student centric, many of the activities are actually driven by the students. Students actually help us to decide about the curricula, decide about the different activities, and how basically the teaching learning things is going to be placed. So obviously, I mean, both method they have like their merits and demerits. And teacher centric method we have been using from centuries, right? I mean, right from our, let's say, Gurukul system, and to modern days like a teaching, mostly it was focused on like a teacher centric approach. And I guess maybe slowly people have started to understand, and they are talking about like a student centric. They are involving the students into their teaching delivery and other part into it. So we are going towards like a student centric. But then there is a third approach where we do not need to actually focus whether it is a student driven or whether it is a teacher driven. We need to focus more on a learner centric, where learner or learning is a very important, whether it is a teacher driven or it is kind of like a student driven. The ultimate goal is that there should be a learner centric, or I may say the learning is a very important word, so keyword over here. So teacher should or a student should understand certain concept. Teacher should also satisfy that. Okay, so now entire theme of your like FDP is related to OBE. So this is going to be one very important part in that, that when we try to take up like learner centric approach, so it may happen that students are not 100% correct in driving the I may say the teaching learning process, or even the teacher. So we always need to keep this particular approach in mind, that is a learning centric or a learner centric approach. Now when we try to do that, happens the teaching learning process happens in a three ways. One, it is like a philosophy foundation knowledge, a very important framework. And then to implement those particular philosophy foundation, generally we have like a models, designs, and processes. To give you an example, let's say I am sure that all of you are now very well aware with the Bloom's taxonomy, right? So our philosophy is what, that we wanted to impart a knowledge in such a way that students are going to get opportunity maybe in the job market or in a higher studies, or let's say if they wanted to do their entrepreneurship or something, so they are able to do that thing. That is our generally philosophy, or I may say that is the kind of like a vision and majority of the colleges or this thing is having, to make sure that that vision is converted into like a some outcome or actionable goal. That is only possible when we try to implement through some models, designing, or a process. So here I am sure that all of you are aware what is like a Bloom's taxonomy, reverse Bloom's taxonomy. There are multiple actually model, but for example we'll take a Bloom's taxonomy. So now, because why, it's a very widely used taxonomy model in entire like education system. So that model we take, so from that thing we know what is like a lower level thinking, what is higher level thinking. So there are different level to it, and then according to that we try to deliver our lesson. So and then finally it comes to the implementation, right? So these are the step by step approach that generally we take. So certain things are very important when we have to do it at the implementation level, and certain things are very important when we have to deal with like a designing process or something. So and in this today's talk, mainly we'll be talking about that how we are going to do the implementation, because this is a part where it is very difficult to get some references, or it can only come to our knowledge when we start sharing those practices with our colleagues, right? So I guess maybe this FDP is for the same purpose, where we all will come, we'll share our practices, and so that something good or whatever it is relevant to you, all of you can take out from that, and you can finally implement it, right? And then model designing philosophy, those are the things which generally don't come very quickly. You have to spend years and years to study that and to validate them, and then it comes. So more or less those particular things are in place, but mainly we'll be talking about implementation. So when we are coming to to the ICT tool, it is actually addressing to the implementation part, and also it is more focused towards the learner centric approach. So I guess maybe these are the definition, basic something which is clear to everyone. And I also request that if at any given point of time, if there is any kind of like a doubt or a question, please do ask me. Unfortunately, I'm just able to see my full PPT only, so maybe the host need to help me if there is any question or doubt. Okay, so moving further from here, why basically, like, we have to do this thing, why we need to learn those kind of like ICT, what kind of like a change it is, like, happening around that we have to start adapting those practices. So first of all, motivation for us is that there is a disruptive change, right? I mean, COVID, I may say that it has completely changed the way that we used to take our education, and then how we look at the education, right? So this is, I may say that it's kind of like a force change. If some of us can see that what is going to be in future and what is going to be like a disruptive, we can start preparing ourselves for that thing. Unfortunately, for a COVID-19, I may say that entire academia, scientific community, everyone failed. Why failed? Because no one actually foreseen that particular like a part, and we never bothered to prepare ourselves. But I think that is the biggest lesson that we learned from the COVID, that we need to prepare ourselves for any kind of like a unforeseen event, right? So that's a very very big lesson that at least I may say that I have learned that thing. And so we need to be ready with a disruptive change, and to know that what kind of disruptive change are going to occur constantly, we need to study, we need to update ourselves, then only we will be able to do that thing, right? So generally what happens in like COVID, we were not ready, and we, I may say, if I have to say in a cricketing terms, it was like a hit wicket, right? I mean, so we just took our own wicket in that case, and we could not get like a gravity of that situation. I still remember when there was a lockdown in March 15 or 16, I guess, in Mumbai. So that time we all were hoping that, oh, this is like, just maybe for 15-20 days, then everything is going to come on routine, and then we do not need to like, worry much about that thing. So even that was happened, we could not like take the gravity of that situation, and it was a sad part, but a true part. So that is like, it's now that becomes like a factor to driving us this. And as a teaching community, I mean, I may say that thing, it has bring lots of changes in our thinking, our mindset, our behavioral change. In fact, it also requires lots of like a skill set change, right? So whatever so far skill set that we have is, I guess, not enough to address to the changes that are happening, or the new normal that are coming into the picture. So going further, I may say that there is a physical change. So what is a physical change is that, many of the teachers, I know that they are overweight, including myself, because of this lockdown. Even I cannot do my regular exercise, or I cannot go for like a walk or something outside. So ultimately it is coming down to like, our health, like, you become like overweight. And I know that the majority, at least my colleagues, I know they have a diabetes or maybe a blood pressure. So these kind of like changes are happening, and it is affecting a lot. So when we are talking about different tools and other thing, I think it is also important that we also need to address those issues, because ultimately everything is going to be driven by people, and if people are not fit, then we can't do anything, right? So that's why I like to spend just a few minutes regarding those things. So what is the way ahead of for that? So I request to all my colleagues, even in my college, and also like I'm assuming all are like a teachers over here. So maybe we have to change our like a food habit. We need to give more emphasis on like a yoga, pranayam, and we have to have like a very regular life. Because I know that, I mean, I will not give anyone's example, but my own example, when initially there was a lockdown. So entire life was become irregular, because in a regular day, okay, I have to go to office, and there are multiple meetings. So everything was as per timetable, and it was going smoothly. Now suddenly after the lockdown, that everything vanished, and there is a lots of space, and so you become indisciplined, and then your life is not in a regular way. I mean, you eat at any time, you sleep at any time, unnecessary. You keep watching something on like a television or maybe on a, like OTT platform. So it's not good for things. So we, whether there is a discipline on, I mean, there is a like a timetable or not, but need to be have a regular right, so that we can take care about all those physical changes. Now, the mindset change is also required, because I know that many of my colleagues, including myself, we go to a lots of like attention right after the March. We started to start thinking, even it came down to like a June and July, everybody started worrying that what is going to happen. I mean, what about like a new admission? I'm sure that worry is still there. And we created like lots of like a tension. Then everybody started thinking about that. Oh, maybe there'll be a pay cut, or there might be like our job is secure or not. So it's very difficult situation for everyone, and to accept those things. So it's create lots of like a tension and lots of like anxiety among ourselves, and it is like a terrified situation, I may say. So if I have to find some way out of it, the first thing is that I need to accept that okay, this is a new situation, that is no way out. We have to take it ahead, whatever there is a fact on a ground reality. We need to do certain thing as a like a meditation, and start using those particular time to learn like a new skills, new subjects, which will take us to a like a to a next level. I mean, if just to give an example, I mean, few subjects that I used to take in wireless, but I started to like increase my horizon. Now I take like a few courses even in some other different domain. So this particular lockdown and helped me to improve my like a horizon. So I think if we do that thing, we are more prone to the situation which is like going around, right? So then, coming to the behavioral change. Now, when we come to like the digital education, the first thing that we are missing is a constant feedback, right? When we are taking class in a classroom, so students are like asking, then we have like eye to eye contact, then we can know what is going on. But when I'm taking class, rather even right now also, when I'm delivering this talk, I don't know what is going on beyond like my screen. I'm just looking at my computer, and then something I'm just discussing with all of you, but I'm not actually getting a feedback, right? So if I'm in a real class, I really come to know that thing. Oh, I'm making a board to all the audience, or I'm really making some points. So all those constant feedback, which is completely like a missing. Then also we used to have lots of like a mannerism, right? I mean, so mannerism, maybe our hand gestures and everything. So this you have to be we can easily do it in like classroom, but I mean, there is a no way that we can do the same thing in like digital platform, and that makes many people uncomfortable, right? Just for example, I like to move around on my like entire stage, and then talk to people, and then talk to like students. So, but I cannot do it right now. I'm just sitting in a chair, and then I'm just constantly like speaking. So it makes me some bit, I may say, the uncomfortable. Now I'm used to it, but yes, that initially it was like a problem. Now about a language also, we have to be very careful, because now you are entering into the digital era where each and everything is going to be stored. And another important thing that I have observed is that right now it is not just your students who are listening to you, but even their parents are actually listening to you. So this you have to be very careful when we are trying to use certain kind of like a language and other thing. I know that sometimes I mean, the people, they do not have any intention, but just as a like how generally we use in a class as a joke language or something, and then make some funny statements so the students are away. But in a digital, it's a completely different thing. You can't like do that thing. So we have to be very careful about those things. So the way ahead is that yes, we have to get used to with this new kind of like a feedback. And also it's that we have to be improve our behavior, because digital delivery requires a different kind of etiquettes, different kind of like a gesture, different kind of like a body language that we require. So we have to adapt to that, and also the mind your language. So this is very important. And this kind of like a changes that we are bringing, it's important one. And I may also say that thing. Now we also need to equip ourselves from different skill set. So just for example, how to convert our analog into digital. Just for example, many of us are very used to it, like making a notes for the students. But now that notes you cannot share it easily, like because everything is online. So you have to convert those things into like a digital one. So this is not related to notes, but everything. Let's say even if you are taking a practical, so first you have to make certain videos and then uploading. So that transition between the analog and digital, it's like requires some skills. So when we are talking about making a video, the immediately question will come, which tool I need to use, which is like a very easy to use, not complicated. It will also save my like a hard drive and all these things. So lots of questions comes in. So do I know those kind of like a tools which I can usually utilize or not? So that everything comes under like analog to digital. Now when we are entering into the digital etiquettes, it's a different kind of environment, right? When you have to say something, you have to raise your hand on the platform. It is not like that you just unmute yourself and then start asking question unnecessary, create a chaos. Then when we are going on like a WhatsApp or something, or let's say special kind of like a FDP is going on, I still see that many people just keep sending good morning, good afternoon, those kind of like messages. So one way it is good, but it is not good when we are focused with certain objective. Why? Because sometimes some important queries that we are asking, or some important kind of like a question that we are asking, so it get vanished in that flood of like messages. So those are the new things that we all have to learn. So we feel that thing, oh, it is a good, because we have trained like that, that when we are meeting somebody, we have to greet somebody, that okay, good afternoon, good morning, whatever. So we just follow that thing. But now this habit need to be changed, that in digital platform, it may not require those things, right? In fact, those habit can create a problem for us, right? So that is there. Then lots of irrelevant questions and other thing will come. I mean, I know that we conducted so many FDPs online. So then even if it's a first day of FDP, generally the question start coming, when we are going to get a feedback, when we are going to get like a the certificate. I can understand the people are a bit anxious about that, but these are not relevant thing. First important and very important thing is that we need to focus on learning, then all those things can come. So why I'm giving this example is that, I mean, we are not doing wrong, but the scenario is changing, and as per that scenario we have to adapt to this new kind of like etiquettes. So this is really important. Then as I said, uh,
Sir,
yeah,
so sorry
yeah,
to interrupt
yeah.
you, sir. Sir, could you please raise the volume as it is very low?
Really? Okay, one second.
Yes, sir. You can just hold up the mic near your face, like.
Okay, one second. Let me just check also. That is it. Yeah, it is at a full volume,
Okay, sir.
and yeah. Okay. So now is it fine?
It is bit okay.
But okay, okay. So I'll
Thank you,
try
sir.
my best that I'll
Yeah,
keep holding this one. Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So then another important point is about like a digital skills, right? So when we are talking about like analog to digital, obviously it is going to take certain thing. But when I'm talking about digital skills, what I mean is that digital transformation. So digitization and digital transformation, these are the two different area itself. So when we are talking about like a digital skill, means you are able to work on a multiple different kind of like a platforms, and then how good you are like dealing with like a different I mean say requirement, not just making a video or making like a notes or something, or taking like a Google quiz or something. Okay, these are some skills which I think everyone can take it ahead. But before that, let's say you have to go for some analytics, you have to like learn certain new tools, that okay, how I need to do the practical online. So for the practical, what are the some different kind of like tools, or the these things are available. So that's a one step ahead. So those kind of like skills are really really important. Then when we are talking about like online teaching, so online teaching doesn't mean, as I said, it's like just taking a lecture in an online mode and then delivering thing. No, online teaching means there should be lots and lots of activity. The engagement level of the student should be really, really high. And for that also, we have to learn like a new tools, right? So considering all this thing, yes, these are the new skill set that we all need to equip ourselves. And different the challenges that generally, like, the teachers they are facing is that the first and very important question that come is that how to engage the students, right? We are delivering the lecture, but we see that no one is actually giving us any kind of like a feedback, and entire class is like, I mean, it's a pin drop silence. And it's a bit difficult. So how to engaging the students, it's a big question. And I think at any given point of time we all have faced this particular like a question. Then second thing about the content making, how to make our content so interesting that students are like, make a best out of it. So content making is a very important. How to take a feedback, what kind of like a feedback mechanism we should keep it, right? Because I know that majority of the students, they face connectivity issue, infrastructure activity, and all this thing. Now practically, I may say, a few problems that we faced is that maybe at the home, maybe there are like a 2 3 siblings, and among them only there is like, one particular laptop, and every timetable runs from the morning to evening. So they have to even share those things. So it becomes very difficult for them to be online and give you some kind of like a feedback. Or maybe internet is not good, so because of that we are not able to switch on their camera. They just keep only on like a audio mode. So all those problems comes in. Then how to take assessment, what kind of assessment we have to take it. And I observe that even though when we are try to convert, take the lectures in online mode, the way of conduction is still like a very old method, that teachers, they give some kind of like assignment which are nothing but a past previous paper, and they ask them to solve it, write it down, scan it, and upload it on the platform. So that is not the way it need to be done. There should be a different way and a value addition to it, then only it's like a very successful. So these are challenge. Then obviously question comes for the lab, right? So I'm sure that many of the college, they are facing maybe some experiment. You can take it on some software, open source software. Today we'll be discussing some of them. And certain thing you can take it on a virtual lab, but not necessary that each and everything that you can take it on that. So in that case, what things we can do it. Now when you are making a online content, you have to be very careful about IPR copyrights, right? Because now it is going to go online and it is in digital form. So digital things can never wiped out completely. There is always a trace, so you have to be very rightful about it. And then many of our students, even they do not have that mindset that okay, COVID is like making everything online. So still many students will be there who will prefer that there will be some class conducted, physical class conducted, and if they will come and then attend those kind of things. So changing a mindset of a students, it's also a bit challenge for all the teachers and for all academician. Then digital etiquettes I already talk about. Then collaborative work. Now the best part is that in online I can do lots of collaborative work which I could have not done when it is in a physical mode. Just to give you an example, I mean, we are now involving some of the professors from the foreign university to even conduct certain modules or conduct certain kind of like a experiment in that. So that kind of like a collaboration with the foreign university in earlier case was not physical, because it was a physical mode. Because it is now online, so I can rope in many people who are willing to share their experience and then expertise with us. So that kind of like collaboration is now possible. But how to do it, that is again a question, and it's a challenge also. Then infrastructure and technical part is again like maybe not each and every college they have a very good infrastructure, or they have like the technical, I may say, the support. So that's also creates some kind of like a limitation, right? So if then lack of like a connect, sometimes even it is a financial issues. Now this is a major issue actually, because the fees are not coming. If fees are not coming, then how you are going to run the college? So many issues related to that. So these are some of the challenges that generally each and every one of us face, and we have to find some kind of like a solution out of it, right? So when I say about the digital skills, so what kind of like a digital skills it could involve? These are some of them, it is not entire list. Likewise, you can keep listing so many different like skills, but some of very important one, that at least if you know this particular like a skill, it is good enough to run any particular course with a full engagement from the student side. So number one is about like a social media skills. So now students are very good with like a WhatsApp, or you can say Facebook, or maybe you can say Google Meet, or any other platform whichever you use, or maybe a LinkedIn. So you have to start using those social media skill even to engage students in a learning. You have to convert that as an opportunity for a learning thing. So that's a very important one. Then as I said, like a video audio editing is very important. If you're making any classroom or any class or preparation video, so you know that which are the tools you can use it for video editing, audio editing, and right, which are available for free of charge, which are available for very nominal fee, but give you a excellent kind of like the result of it. So that you should know. Then you also should know that how to create a content, sharing the content. Let's say you wanted to have some kind of like an animation into your video to make it like a more interesting, how you are going to do it, what are the tools available to it. And then if you wanted to share that content in a such a way that it is available to all your students, even into your parents, so how to do that, which particular platform we need to use, whether I should use like the Google Drive, or whatever, let's say that sharenet.com, or I mean there are multiple like platform. So which one is more effective, that is very important. Then I mentioned about like academic analytics. So this is extremely important, that whatever that data that you are getting, data points from the student side, that we have to constantly analyze whether students are able to understand our like teaching concepts, or they are facing any problem, the lab that we are conducting, are they going in a proper way. So all those things, if I know certain tools, I can make sure that that analytics is like properly like utilized. Then communication platform, if I have to communicate with the student, so which platform I have to use, whether I have to use MS Team, whether I have to use like a WhatsApp. And if I'm using such a tool, so there are certain rules and regulation that I need to follow. So what I'm going to do it. The same thing is about like a collaborative platform also. So let's say right now all of you have invited me to share my experience. So now the tool that you have choose is Google Meet, right? So you feel that the Google Meet is a perfect tool to bring all the people together, and collaboratively we can do something, right? So that's how you choose that platform. So when we are talking about like a online teaching, let's try to understand what do we mean by online teaching. So I asked this question to like lots of people, that what is like not online teaching, right? So let's go in a reverse way. So making a ppt with a voiceover means you make a ppt, then you record your voice on that, and then you send that entire video to the student, so that student can look at this ppt, they can listen to your audio. So maybe all of you aware that IIT Bombay is running spoken tutorial. So this is specifically in this mode, making a ppt, and then there is a voiceover, so that it saves the bandwidth. You do not need to include a video into that, and it saves your lots of bandwidth and space. You can easily do it. Then making a videos, taking lecture online, traditional teaching but in online mode, I already mentioned to you. Filling a Google form. So all these are a component of a online teaching, but not exactly online teaching, right? Online teachings actually have so many different layers to it, different kind of like a teaching to it, right? And then obviously you have to learn some new tools like a content delivery tool, assessment tools, feedback tools, teaching platform tools, MOOC, delivery model, strategies, how we have to go about it, flipped classroom, whether we wanted to have like a flipped classroom or not, PBL, problem-based learning, research-based learning. We wanted to include a virtual lab or a remote lab. What are the things that we would like to have, so that we can try to see that thing. And once we have listed down, so at least we learn one tool from each this part, it will be good enough to develop our like a skills in that thing, right? So now I am coming to this second part of like my presentation. Now we'll be discussing about like a different ICT tools. So far, is there any particular like a question or any doubt that we would like to take it? I mean, as a first part, the first part is more about like the teacher's role and the new normal that they are asking. So is there anything which we have to take it? Okay, so if right now we do not have any particular like a question, so let me just go back to my presentation. So now we will be starting to discuss about like a different ICT tool. So very important, like an interesting one, which is like quite popular among our students, is one particular like a method. My PPT is visible, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So one particular like very important kind of activity that generally we do, or we ask students to do, is it's like developing a crossword for them. So they solve this kind of like a crossword puzzle, and it is very interesting to make. And this is a really good, I may say, the learning method when students need to learn more on the terminology, right? So terminology. So let me just show you one. So there are like these are some of the very popular website that generally we use. Personally, I use like a crossword lab. Let me show you one demo so that it will be like a clear to all of you. So let me just start with that. Okay, so that particular like a crossword labs is already there. So maybe once you will get my PPT, you can have that entire link with you. Now here you can see my screen is visible right now. Everyone can see.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir,
now
it is
here,
visible.
yeah. Okay. So now let's say we wanted to create like a one crossword puzzle. So I'm just giving you one title as a like a wireless network. These are the subject that I take. Now I do not going to write each and everything. I'm just simply taking their example. Their example is like that. If you have to use this particular like the crossword, how you can design a crossword is that you have to give the word which you wanted to have, and then the clue. So here, dog, man's best friend; cat, likes to chase mice; bat, flying mammal; elephant, has a trunk; kangaroo, large marsupial, right? So now let me just, so see, this is how it is going to look like. So similar to that, you can even create a different kind of like a quiz also. So let me just show you that how it will come down. So this I can take it as a like the as a print this particular thing. I can even embed this thing in my lesson plan, or maybe in this thing. So what this particular, like, you can see there is across and down actually key they are getting. So I'm sure that all of you have solved that crossword puzzle in a newspaper or maybe in some magazine. So we try to convert this particular like certain terminology in this one, and you can also download it as a this one. So let me just show you that also. You can edit, you can share. Then there is a also, you can take it as a like a print. So let me say, if I decide that thing as a print, see this particular, I can download it, and then I can share it to the students. So generally, let's say when you have decided that, okay, I have a certain topic which I need to take it at a very understanding level in a Bloom's taxonomy at the very, very base level. So in that case, just remembering, reproducing certain names, it's good. So this exercise will definitely help you with this thing, right? So now with a down, okay, has a trunk. So that means here entire elephant will come. So this is going to work when you have like multiple. I mean, right now I do not have a ready example of my some subject that is actually available in my college computer. Unfortunately, I do not have in my laptop. So you can create those kind of like the quiz. So this is very very interesting, and students really love it. They like to solve this particular like a puzzle, and I take it like a online, and even during the physical mode they take it like as a like a home, and then everybody try to like solve this thing. So right, so this is a very very interesting kind of like a one tool. So, and there are multiple side to it. I mean, not just one. I personally use this one, but all of you can even go through this kind of like the four things. So that's is called as a technical crossword, right? So this is useful when you wanted to introduce certain kind of like a category of like a words or a terminology to words. So when students they involve themselves in solving these puzzles, automatically they started to learn about that kind of like a the method. So this is one particular like a tool that I just wanted to share with all of you, and just wanted to show you. It's a very simple. If you go to this website, these are not open sourceware, these are called as a like a freeware. I mean, it is online. They are giving you like multiple times you can use it. So if you wanted to take certain like quick quiz or something, so this is one of the way that you can try to engage students in your activity. Okay, so is there any particular like a question or doubt regarding this tool before we move to the next one? Okay, so let's move to the next particular like a tool. So let me share my PPT again. Okay, okay. So now there are many other kind of like online quiz testing. So I'm sure that most of you are using like a Google for your this one, and Google is a very simple and very, I mean, easy, right? At the end you are also going to get a complete like Excel sheet for that, and that Excel sheet you can see how students have performed, what kind of like things they have done. But if you wanted to go one step ahead of that, so there are many sites which can actually do much more than like the taking like a simply quiz. Sometimes we face problem when we have to take like a mathematical formula, you have to insert as a like a picture or something. Or when you wanted to like takes, let's say somebody else is already have done this kind of like a quiz, you wanted to integrate those quiz into this one. So that kind of facility generally you never get in Google form or maybe any other form. But if you go to this kind of like a website, this is like a quite popular, and then entire analytics also captures in a very beautiful way. It can also tell you that okay, how many minutes that person have taken. Whether if you go for like a premium version, it can even tell you that thing, that people have referred the website or I mean the Google or not for this thing. But apart from that, I may say the the commercial version, you can just take like their free version, which is limited to like, just for example, Socrates, that is only limited to I guess 55 or 60 students. I'm not sure with the number, but it is limited. And then the free version you can use only for like 3 times, which is good enough to do it in like entire like a semester. So then there is a quiz start. So these are some of a very good I may say the this website. So let me just show you one. So yeah, so here you can I mean take a different kind of like a test. And obviously now when we started to use this, that time it was completely like a free. Now they have gone for completely commercial version, but still you can use it as a free trial version, and register yourself for a free. And you can do like multiple thing over there, assign test, statistic. You wanted to make it a customized for the students, that also it's like easy to do it. And you can set so many different kind of thing. Okay, even if you wanted to print some kind of like a certificate, that is also like, possible. I mean, once you solve this quiz, you will immediately get like a certificate. So that thing also you can do it over here, which is bit difficult in a Google form. It is not like it is not possible. Yes, you have to take it all the things, and then you have to run certain process, and you can do that thing. But here it could be done in a automated mode. So and also you can share those kind of like results with lots of like a different people very easily. So these are some of the benefits. I'm not going inside because more or less it's the same like setting up like a Google, but just wanted to show you this few this platform. Let me show you this, which is like quite popular among our like a faculty members, and then they are using this one. So here it is not just only I may say that for the quiz, but you can even like conduct your entire classroom. It's kind of like a small MOOC, or you may say the LMS system that you are going to get. So those things also, Socrative is like a very nice one. So, and it's very easy to use also. And if you have like a programming earlier, in earlier version, they used to give it as a free, as a auto grader, but right now I think they are charging for it. So and then it is also like available in a like app. So students, if they do not have access to the laptop, still they can start using those kind of like a thing, right? So this is like another kind of like a tool. So I'm sure that all of you can just register over here, and then start like doing some work on that thing, and it will be like a very easy. So this is another like a great website that all of you can keep it in mind, right? And right now, even though it is like a paid, but many things you can do it for free of charge, so that you can take it for your some quiz and other thing. Okay, so let me just come back to. Okay, so far, is there any question related to this one? Let me just go to this one, collaborative learning tools. Now, this is a very interesting one. I mean, I generally use this Mentimeter and other thing very popularly. I mean, because when we try to take some lectures, it becomes like, boring. So to make sure that students are engaged, I go for like a Mentimeter. So let me show you demo also. So in a free version, I can get like a 2 things, which is more than enough. And if I go for a paid one, it is like a unlimited thing. So now everyone has to take part into that. Let me just show you that exercise. Okay. Okay, so now I have set certain question, but before that, let me just copy paste that. So this is 2 demo actually I've created only for this classroom. So let me start with this demo. All of you have to fill some data online. So we'll try to get understanding that okay, what you are. Now what you need to do, let me just copy paste this one. You just have to go to www.menti.com, and you need to go to 90, this code you have to click. So let me just put it over here in your chat box, and let me enable that thing. So okay, so menti.com, all of you need to go, and over there you have to enter this code. Let me just go to start the voting also, so that 1 second. And then I'll show you that how to create that also. It's very easy, very easy to work with it. So all of you can put your like a 3 words to it. Now I have opened that one. So let me just start with this thing, and it will come as a like a cloud. So what I will request everyone is to please enter your options. What are your options, right? So you go to www.menti.com. I have put that website on your chat box. Over there, you enter this code and you can type 3 words, basically 3 keywords, and let us see what results that we are getting. All of you can see my PPT. So I know this session is after the lunch, uh, but believe me, once you involve this kind of like a tool in your regular lecture, students immediately becomes like very active. They start doing something. I cannot see anyone has typed in any word or something. Yeah, please go to that menti.com and use this code, and then you can try to like enter the code word over there. What do you understand by tools? Okay, I can see that. Nice. Okay, accreditation, teaching tools. Okay, so when you try to put those kind of like a code words, we will be getting entire like a cloud. So I can basically try to understand that what is when I use this word ICT tools, what people have thought about it, what they think about it. Yeah, so some people have put as a maximum reach, it's a teaching tool. Yeah, fast, nice, it's a innovative. Okay, the more input that we are going to get, the very nice kind of like the we are getting. Yeah, so here now the image pattern is like emerging. Okay, that technology in teaching, but people are saying that it is a nice. Okay, okay, innovative is now gaining popularity. I think more people have so far I can see there are 6 people have actually put up the word. Okay, yes, good, good. 7. All of you can see this entire picture right now. All of you are able to see, right, what is coming on my PPT?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, okay, good, good. So I can see that 7 participants actually put something over there. Yes, 8 participants. So when I say the ICT, the majority of the people, I mean the 8 people, they think that innovative is like associated with ICT. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so that is like our the word map is like going. So when I say that, okay, I wanted to give any concept, and in that concept I have to do something. So I try to understand what students think about it. So generally I keep this kind of like exercise in between, and then students, they give their keywords, and from that keyword I can come to know that, okay, whether they have some good understanding or not. Yeah, okay. So we'll wait for 1 more minute. Let's take a few more like responses. Yeah. So from the pattern, what I see is that when I say ICT tools, people associate that word with innovative. Then they associate it with it's like a nice tool to have, or then there are various other like a domain. But these two are, I can say, the very emerging pattern, right? So these are the two things. So when I say ICT tools, people are basically understanding that they are talking about innovative teaching method, or a nice way to conduct the lecture. Okay, so that's fantastic. Now let me just show you that how basically you can do with it, right? So that's very easy. I mean, what I can do, let me just go back and then show you that how it happens. Okay, so once you register on this Mentimeter, you will get this kind of like a dashboard. You just need to go there. You put it as a add presentation. Let's say I'm giving a presentation like this, that today is ICT FTP. Yeah, so that's create a presentation. So this will automatically come over here. Yeah, so you can see now here today is a ICT FDP, right? So that come. Now I have a multiple options with that, whether I can go for multiple choice, whether I can go for a word cloud. So recently I have selected word cloud, right? When I asked you that what is my, what do you mean, understand by like ICT? So I go with this one. Then let's say you just wanted to say something. So you can go for open-ended. If you have to take a ranking, you can do that thing. If you wanted to for a competition, so right, various kind of like a models are already there. You can select from it. That, let's say I'm choosing from a multiple choice, right? So when I choose this thing, I get over here option what I wanted to do. It's a good, better, excellent, like that, right? What kind of like a choice? How do you find multi Mentimeter? Sorry, Mentimeter. Okay, Mentimeter. So this becomes like my questions, right? If I have to add another one, I can also do that thing. Option 4, I may put that uh, so not so great. So this is like, okay, so these are the options that is there. Now once you go to the customize over there, once you make it like, okay, it's open for it is like a close for voting, so no one can actually vote for it right now. And then once you open it, now it's open to like everyone, right? And you just need to share this one. Go to menti.com, and this code you need to share with all the students, so they can go to this website, share this code, and they can put their kind of like a rating over there, and you are going to get this one. Now in a free, maximum I can add is a 2 slide, right? So in a lecture, if I'm taking this two kind of like a polls, or two kind of like a small quiz, which is good enough to keep the people very engaging. So that's a very interesting tool which I use very often. So Mentimeter, all of you can keep it as a like a your thing. So is there any doubt or any question in this one? Okay, so I'm assuming that right now there is no particular question. Okay, so let me just go back to my demo kind of thing that I have prepared. So then next question that I wanted to ask all of you is, it's taking some time to load. 1 second. Yeah. So earlier this was the result. Now I wanted to ask you another question. Actually, this might be my, I may say, the feedback. So all of you can tell me whether what is. So just I wanted to show you another type of like, the slide where I have started to take. Okay. Okay. So now here I made it as a like, that, uh, yeah, let me just it's the same like a website. Okay, present this one to you all, and I may request all of you to give me the rating. So I'll get right now. I'm going to share this code with all of you. You go to Mentimeter, and you just put this code over there, and I may say that thing. Okay, so two people, they have given me the rating as a 4th, very generous, thank you. So this kind of this is a live response that you are going to get it from the students. So now it is coming from the third person. So likewise, whatever it is like happening, so you try to engage students more into that. Suddenly they are awake, and then they do something over there, and start to giving you some kind of feedback about this thing. So I generally use this Mentimeter, and it's quite interesting also. So I guess maybe all of you understood. Okay, so this is we have okay so total there are like a 6 7 people, they have given rating. So one is third, and six it's four. So this this part you can keep it for your as a outcome. So let me take you to another very interesting tool. I mean, that also like I like the most, because I try to gather lots of like a feedback from the students through it. So this is known as a Padlet. Yeah, this is called as a Padlet. So this is also like very interesting one. So what we do in a Padlet, let's say we wanted to do some kind of like a brainstorming with the students. Let's say especially when you wanted to do any kind of like some kind of like a quiz, or let's say you wanted to do, so make sure that some projects ideas are coming, and you wanted to collaborate that with everyone. Now here I have prepared one example. So that is related to timeline of communication. Just let me know what is like a timeline of like when it happens, how initially started. Okay, so I try to put it over there. Let me just share this link with all of you. Copy the link, and I have copied. I am putting it in your chat box, so you can go to that link and you can put your thing, right? So what is this exercise? Let's say I am telling the students that let's try to build a timeline of like a communication technology, right? How actually our communication technology evolves. Let's try to understand that. So maybe the first thing that I put it is like Jagdish Chandra Bose, who done some wireless experiment, and he started with that thing. Then there was a very key important point about like a Shannon theory. Then there is something else. What do you think, what are some important milestone of this thing? Can you just put your thoughts over there? So now I'm sure that all of you have now got that link, so you can type something, right? So let's see what response we are getting right now. Are people entering that and adding something? Okay, innovative tools. Okay, that somebody has put that innovation tool. Okay, so this is just an example. So you can engage two students in that thing. Now this is, I'm talking about timeline, but you can also choose some kind of like the Padlet where you give like a multiple kind of like ideas. Let me just take you to that part. Okay, let's say my glorious Padlet. Now here maybe all of you can share some kind of like a input, whatever something you wanted to say about this particular like thing. You just keep your post over there and post it. Now let me share that link with all of you. So in a free version, maximum you can take is like a 3 Padlet, which is good enough for any one session. So now I have shared. So maybe you can type anything. Okay, you like this particular idea in this presentation, you don't like something, or that is not good, that is whatever. So you try to put it over there on that given link. So I'll be getting as a wall of your sticky notes, so I can finally collaborate with it, and I can change all those questions also, right? And yeah, so hello, yeah, somebody put as a hello, very nice, okay. Now another students will put something else over there. So you can give the question like this. Okay, so let's say, which one is your favorite ICT tool? Can you type it, everyone? Can everyone type it? That, yeah, I'm getting hello Padlet, okay. Okay, someone said about Padlet, okay. Mentimeter, somebody says, okay. See, so now all of you are able to see my wall. I mean, my screen is visible. It is taking some time bit you, I think network delay or something. Yeah, so yeah, somebody says yes, it is okay. It's it's invisible. Oh, so there is a problem. Oh, it's visible. Okay, fine. So, likewise, I mean, lots of students can give this kind of like a feedback. So I can try to understand that, okay, what is like there. This. So I also use this Padlet. It is kind of like, I'm giving sticky note to the students. They are putting some words and then they are putting it on a wall or, on a cardboard. So I can get like their thoughts on that. So likewise, you can also do this thing. And so very, very easy to use it, similar to like a Mentimeter. Just you can I mean, go there. I mean, this kind of like a dashboard you will generally get it, and you can share it with everyone. You can try to make your Padlet. Now just to give you an example, let's say we will make my Dazzling Padlet. Okay, let me just show you that what changes we can make it over there, right? So then it will be clear. Yeah, so this is about timeline. We don't want timeline once. Ah, okay, set. Now I'm putting some, let's say, question over here. Uh, ICT tools are good or bad? Made with a quick smile, I can say I'm taking a survey. Survey, okay. This is, I'm just showing to you, but not necessary. A wallpaper, if you wanted to change in a different color, so all those things you can, always you can do that thing. I mean, font, if you wanted to change, or wallpaper, you go to like a solid color gradient or a picture, or I mean, all those options are available to you. You can take your own kind of thing. Keep working, okay. And I'm if I have my own, that also I can do this thing. I'm sharing, copy to clipboard, URL to clipboard, and I'm now sharing that link with you. So now all of you also understand how basically you wanted to create that. Okay, so I hope that now it is clear. Okay, uh, yeah, save, that I have saved that. Okay, that's done, close. Now you can type something over there. I have put the link over there, so you say yes, no, whatever you wanted to say. Okay, somebody said really good. Now it is coming in a timeline form. I can also convert into like a sticky mode, right? So I guess maybe most of you get it, that how basically we can try to do and use this particular, like, resources. Okay, so okay, yeah. So I hope that now it's clear. So, and I'm sure that once you try to go and go to that website, and you can just, do your experiments and other things, it will be very easy to take it. Let me just take okay, so let me just go back to, I think Mentimeter is also clear. So yeah, so these are like, collaborative learning tools. This one, two examples I have given, Mentimeter and a Padlet. Let us go to next one. Yeah, Flip Classroom and MOOC. Let's say if you wanted to make your classroom, Flip Classroom. What is Flip Classroom? When we say the Flip Classroom means what? The teaching happens or the learning happens outside the classroom, right? Let's say you wanted to teach students some concept about, like, let's say matrix, 2 by 2 matrix, 3 by 3 matrix, and then you teach them. So you make a small video that how you can do that calculation, and when they come to the class, you give them directly some problem. Now you have to solve this problem, and over there you become like a facilitator to them. You help them to solve that particular, like, problem. So you don't have to teach them that, okay, what is 2 by 2 matrix or 3 by 3 matrix. You have already made some kind of like a video you have given to them. So learning happens outside the classroom and activity happens in the classroom. So that is, we call it as a flip classroom. So for a flip classroom, it's very important that we need to make some kind of like a video. So I find that Screencast-O-Matic is a very, very good kind of like, this one recorder. So I'll just take you to the site and I'll show you. So if you wanted to make anything as a like a video, and if it is below 10 minutes, then Screencast-O-Matic is a fantastic tool. You can use this one. You can sign it up for free. If it is above 15 minutes, I guess, so then you have to make a payment for it. So I think it's good enough, because generally when we make like a flip classroom, our duration never goes beyond 5 minutes. 5 minutes is the maximum, that limit we can keep it. And even if you wanted to develop your own MOOC, like maybe some of you have experience that tool in I may say the Coursera or ADX, where small video they actually build, and those video they embed into their learning thing. So that video, if you wanted to develop, Screencast-O-Matic is fantastic. It works on Windows, Mac machine, Android telephone, on all platform, I may say, and a very easy to use it. There is no problem at all in this one, and all of you can use this one. I mean, it's very simple to use. So I may request all of you can go there and then just sign up for free, and then you can start you can also, like, start doing like using it. You can do it either web, or you can also try to download it, and then you can try to use this one, right? So that is another kind of like a tool that we use very often, especially when we have to design a classroom MOOC and flip classroom and a MOOC one. Okay, then there are certain OER. What is OER? It's a educational open educational resources. So there are various website to it. If you go to website, there are many teachers who comes together, they share their kind of like resources with us. And also whatever resources you are developing, let's say PPT or videos, or so all that comes under resources. So that resources also you can share with lots of people. So you just need to register over there and you can go. I generally do not use this one. I will show you because we have our own internal like this MOOC na. So mostly I will use that one, but these are also like a very popular one. So that Constium, you can go over there, right from the lower education to higher education. You get lots and lots of like OER, like open education resources that is available to you. So you just click, you try to find out in OCR. And one very good example of OCR is MIT open sourceware. I'm sure that all of you might be knowing, but let me also show you the website, OCW. So, okay. Yeah, so you can also go to like MIT. I mean, I refer this on a very regular basis. So So you take any courses. I mean, there are. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how many like courses are there? So maybe let me just take you through one department wise. If we go, so let me take you through electrical and engineering and computer science. So I hope that my screen is visible to everyone, right? Okay, so here, let's say there are so many courses you can see here, and their category and everything is also like a given. So let me take signal and system, that is related to undergraduate program. And this course was that. If I click on this course, what you can see over here is that, the entire their video lecture is available, assignments is available, their exam is available, lecture notes is available, what is reading material they have given, that is available. Let me just show you the lecture notes, right? So what you can do, you can try to like get the PDF from here. Maybe let me just click on this one. See, entire like a course material is available to you. So for when you are developing your own course, you can even utilize this particular like a courses, right? So you can see that thing. Yeah, see, this particular like a lecture notes already like a PPT is available to you. And if you wanted to see what kind of like a assignment they are giving, that also you can download it from here, right? Assignments, right? And assignments with their keys and everything will be there. So I use this OCR. So here you can see that problem set one, and then there is a solution also. So this is a fantastic OCR that I use. So this is like, some homework given to the students, and there is also a answer key. So each and everything is there. So based on these resources, you can make your own OCR in a better way. So all of you can just note it down. I have all, I guess maybe I have already given in the references, ocwmit.edu. Let me just take you to the home, and I'll put this link to your chat box. Yeah. So that all of you know where you have to look for resources. So that resources will be available to you. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me just go to the next one. So some of the OER site we have done. Now I'm coming to some of the open source tools. See, there are, I may say there are more than, 100 and 1,000. So many tools are available. I mean, we cannot take each and every one. It's a very short time. Generally, I used to take like a 6 days entire FDP on teaching methodology and all those things, where we try to cover many like tools. But what we can try to do, some of the important tools. Now I wanted to take you all to some of the open source tools and a project platform. So all of you might be available. FOSI is a very good initiative by IIT Bombay under MHRD ministry, and they helped us a lot in having those kind of. I'll take you to the website also just in a moment. So over there you can see that spoken tutorial, Python, Scilab, OR tools, DWSM, CFT, OSTG, Sandhi, eSIM. So many like, tools are there. So this is like their and they on a regular basis they do conduct so many kind of like seminars, website. I mean, training sessions and all those things, right? And they have many other things. So before we go on that, let me show you that fosi.in, so that all of you can understand which part actually I also use a lot. That also I'll show you. So this fosi.in, I have already added that as a. And I also wanted to take you to the spoken tutorial. Yeah. So here is, you can say that this is a FOSI, and It's a amazing kind of like a resource. It's a gold mine, I may say, where you can learn a lot. And day by day, there are many things are actually keep increasing, and they run many different kind of like a system also. So one particular thing, I mean, in case your college cannot afford like a MATLAB and you wanted to use its equivalent in a free way, so you can go to Scilab. So here you can see Scilab is same like a MATLAB, and I can show you what kind of like a resources they have. Now in Scilab, generally I used to teach my students digital communication or advanced digital communication. So we have like a many textbook in that, and those particular like a textbook and their programs also I can find, because they have done so many like the textbook and those things available. So let me just completed books, I'll show you one particular example. Let's say completed books, let me take you through that one. Okay, so see here there are like many books. Let's say our particular area of interest is electrical engineering, electronics and telecommunication. I go there. Then within that there is a sub this one category. So I go to digital communication, right? So in digital communication, I know there are some very important. Just for example, I generally use Digital Communication by Simon Hyken. So this book, if I click on it, so I can entirely download the programs even given in those particular like book, and it is easily like available. Now let's say what particular like a program I wanted to: error correcting controlling code, spectrum modulation, digital modulation, waveform, sample process, introduction. So let's say this one. So if I download, see, I can download and see within that also there are so many like let's say I wanted to teach students about the Hamming code, so I will click on Hamming code. So I will exactly get this particular like the code file, and I can get this thing. So once I have a Scilab, I can show the students that how to basically run those different kind of like a codes on that thing, and this is amazing. I mean, so this is, I am showing you one example, but there are so many different kind of like a books and everything is done. Now this is not just one thing. I mean, Scilab is there, then there are Python is there. If you are from the electronics background, you wanted to do some simulation related to like circuit design and that thing, you can go for eSIM. Then if you wanted to use a combination of Scilab and Arduino, because students are like very fascinated by Arduino and Scilab, so there are number of projects available even in this particular like option, that how to integrate the hardware and the software part. So it's a amazing resources. You can just go to downloads resources, you can go and you see that there are so many files and books and examples are available. So I think it's a best part that anyone can like ask for it. So this is, I am just showing you the foci.in a very brief. If you just try to, in fact, one entire session we can keep only on foci.in. We can go to like a different tools and different thing what you can do, but I majorly use Scilab, Python, and Scilab Arduino from this one. I'm sure there are many other people who use many other different kind of thing, right? So and they also run many programs also. Let's say if you find you like one particular book and that book's exercise you wanted to convert into program, and if you do that thing, so you will get some reward from foci.in. They give some money as a honorarium. And if you wanted to migrate your entire lab from commercial lab to, I mean, the perpetual kind of like a license lab or a commercial software lab to a open one, then also you are going to get some kind of honor. So there are different kind of like activity. We cannot like explore each and every component of this website in this short duration, but what I will suggest you is that all of you can go through this website foci.in. Let me also put it you in your chat box. So that will be like, available to you. So then you can try your best to do your this one. Okay, now I wanted to show you a very interesting one. I am sure that majority of you are aware about that thing, but what thing I really like about is that those things are actually available in regional language also. So many a times the students who are participating in our class, they are not good with English language, and but still, I mean, they have to learn certain subject. So over there you can find certain, so many like different topics are there. Those topics are available even in a different kind of like a language. Just to give you an example, let's say Linux. Now Linux, there are 17 different courses available, and in which particular let's say language is available? Is there available in a language Gujarati? Let me check that. Yes, there are. Actually, you can see that entire like Linux thing is available in Gujarati. So if you just click on this thing, you get that thing, PPT over voice, right? Voice over PPT, that is like written, and then you can see. I know that initially during the lockdown, so many workshop was going on related to spoken tutorial. I'm sure that many of you have done some courses. Even I have done one particular course based on like latex, and it was very useful to me, right? So those kind of like and even you can contribute in, let's say there are certain kind of like a course material not available in your language or in your native language, but still you would like to conduct those things. So that is possible, right? So that is one way by which actually you can try to conduct and give the material to the students, right? So spoken tutorial, let me also put this as a website so that all of you are like well aware that what I'm talking about. Yeah. So these are some of the resources which is done and collaborated by IIT Bombay, and even MHRD Ministry. They are giving lots of emphasis on that, so that I'm sharing with all of you. So now let me just go back to our presentation. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess maybe I have taken you through this different like this one. I mean, just quickly I have taken you through this one and shown you one particular like example of that. So there are many other, and always there is like new updates and other thing are keep adding into that one. So that's the best part about it. So I always keep this website in my favorite, and I keep checking them once in a month or 15 days on every regular time, so that whatever new things has come, I can see that thing. Okay, now beside that, if we wanted to conduct like a many kind of like a labs or other thing, so right now whatever we have so far shown, it is related to your I mean, you're taking some lectures online, or maybe conducting tutorial, and maybe scilab and other part which may be related to your lab. Beside that, there are other some platforms available. One is a virtual lab. It is again one of the very good resources by IIT Bombay, and IIT Bombay has actually taken that one. Let me just take you through it. So there also you will find so many different kind of like experiment, and it is available for so many different kind of like uh, subjects also. So that you can see over there. It's taking time to open it up. Okay. Let me also copy that link for all of you. Yeah. So here you can go, and they do lots of like different subject. You can see, let's say ours is electronics and communication. So maybe you can go there, and then you can see digital application lab, which is developed by IIT Bombay. Some are then developed by IIT Kharagpur, whichever institute have COP. Pune has developed certain thing. So Amrita Vidyapit, they have developed something, right? So there are many different kind of like thing. In fact, you can also contribute into this particular like a lab. So over there, if you just click, let's say, let me just click on that one. many times you face this problem. Let me try that one, digital using. Okay, I'm assuming that that might be some problem from their side. So anyway, maybe this particular, like, things you can keep it in your thing. Let's say RF microwave. Let's say we can do that. Yes. So there are some about experiment. What is theory behind it? Procedure. You can take even the quizzes on that thing. So entire thing is like support supported. So let's say, okay, you have to actually log into this one. So then about that experiment, yeah, so you have to register, and then you can start using this particular, like, experiment. So this you can keep it in mind, that these are also some of the very good experiment you can do it. Okay, so let me just, and then if you have like a e-yantra lab at your college, yes, students can learn lots of thing related to I may say the robotics part. Then online, then Raspberry Pi, Arduino board are already there. So Arduino board right now maybe students are finding it bit difficult, so they can go to Tinker Lab. Let me show you that one. Over there they can get virtual Arduino board and they can utilize it. Tinkercad. It's a very good one. It's not a open source, but a very fantastic tool to use. So I'll just take you through the website. I mean, we do not have enough time for taking you through some examples or other thing, but this website you can say, so that gives you the virtual, the IoT board, I mean, sorry, this Arduino board, and you can create many things based on that thing. And then there are many community also which can actually help you to come up with the new project ideas and all those things, right? So this Tinkercad also you can keep it in mind. So that's a very fantastic like a tool that all of you have. Okay, so let me just go back to this one. Yeah, and beside that there are lots of, like, social media and lots of, like, other tools available that you can utilize for your teaching learning thing. Okay, so I see there are completely two different kind of, like, approaches: the new normal approach and then after new normal. I mean, there will be a distinction. I may say that this year becomes like a boundary for us. So before this year and after this year. So in a traditional approach is more towards like a syllabus oriented thing. We try to focus more on a question answer, or we give on a report writing. Then whatever the content that we are generating, basically those are not useful for the society, right? We ask students, okay, why don't you just do this assignment, take, like, 5 years question paper and solve this, like, questions from there. So those kind of, like, a content is not going to be useful to even the students, to the college, and to our society. Instead of that, if we can take a new approach, in this new approach all party will be winner. Means if students is doing some assignment, college is going to benefit out of it, and also the society in a larger perspective. How? Let me show you one example. So let's say, in a new approach, instead of you giving them some traditional kind of like assignment, you tell them that why don't you just write a Wikipedia article, right? So Wikipedia article, maybe many students will find it, let's say, it's a very difficult, sir, we cannot like a Wikipedia article. So in that case also, like, what I generally used to tell them is that okay, if you find it difficult to do that thing, let me show you one way, that either you can translate any Wikipedia article into your native language, so that at least people who are working in this area, it is like, available to them, that content. Let me just show you one particular example. OFDM, we try to convert it into Hindi. So if it is there, I will show you right now. Right. Okay. So see, this entire OFDM might be written from multiple people, and then they have done this thing, right? So and then we try to convert this into like Hindi. Earlier it was there. Right now it is, I guess, maybe not that part. So let's say many people, they are actually converting into like a regional language, and they are putting, just for example, it's in Bangla language. So in a Bangla language, see what is like OFDM. Now, even if you are writing that, people who are not having access to, let's say, because of the language divide, they can able to do that thing. And also, when students are contributing in such case, they know how to write a actually technical writing, because here you cannot write anything. Like there are lots of people who are actually doing editing of this particular content, right? So when they do lots of content, you have to give proper references, you have to give proper kind of like citation. Unless and until you do not give that, it will not be accepted as your article. So students get a habit of writing technical stuff, right? We are not expecting them to write any novel or any fancy English. They just need to simply write in English, and are technically correct, and also need to learn scientific writing, right? Scientific writing is a very special kind of art that all engineers or all technician or technologists, they need to learn that, right? So this, they people, they try to learn about it, right? So this is like a very big article, but maybe some part of that students can do that thing, right? So this is, if you are writing in, let's say, Hindi or maybe in Marathi, it is available. So people who are good in those language, they can also like learn about this technology. Okay, what is OFDM? Let me just try to read from the Wikipedia, so at least basic information I can get it to it, right? So that is one part. You can create lots of like a YouTube channel where you try to explain those particular like a concept. So instead of giving them that assignment, you can give them a YouTube video assignment, so that whatever they create, it will be available in open domain. So if anybody wants to like later on see that part, they can easily look at it. So and as a teacher, our job is not to complete the syllabus, but our job is to uncover the syllabus, right? Means we have to take the students to a new horizon and to new like opportunities and other thing that we need to make them familiar about it, right? I know that students are so smart, they can actually do their preparation very easily without any kind of like a problem or something, right? So uh, that's one particular way that we have to do it. Then we have to start using social media as much as possible. You give them the blogs writing, Wikipedia, YouTube, so many things we can do. They give them the PBL, RBL, how to give it. So when you try to do this in that way, it is useful for the society, it is useful for the college, it is useful for the students. How it is useful for the college? Let's say you are creating a Wikipedia, right? So your article is going to feature, so that credit automatically comes to college. And your digital footprint of that college is also start increasing. When you are doing a YouTube, more number of subscribers are coming to your channel, more number of like the people views are coming to your channel. So your digital footprint start increasing and gaining popularity. So that's some of the things that we have to keep it in mind, right? And then now it is a time that we switch to PBL, problem based learning, RBL based learning. Instead of giving them the 10 different kind of assignment or 10 different kind of like a lab, I can give them only one particular problem statement, and I can tell them that at the end of the semester you should be ready with some solution to it. And then while doing that, solving that particular like a problem, students learn so many different aspect of that technology or maybe that concept, and they put it into like the in a real hardware or maybe in a software, and they get like a hands-on on that thing, right? So that's now become very important one. And in that thing, at the end, whatever you are creating, you can contribute on a YouTube or maybe a repository as a GitHub or maybe as a Google Drive, and you can open it to everyone. So somebody who wants to do this project, they can simply go there, they can use this one, and that kind of like a things carry on. This is how like open source and entire open source community works. So students will also benefit from it, entire society can also get benefit of it. So these are the two different approach that now we have to think about it, and then start adapting to a particular like a new approach, right? So in summary, that I may say that what we have discussed in that our limited time is about like a teacher's role in a new normal, and some of the ICT tools actually we have seen today, and I have tried to show you some like a resources which could be like a useful to all of you. And these are some of the courses that even I have done. Maybe all of you can also like go through it, and if you are interested, maybe you can do some courses related to education technology. So that thing I have put it over here. And at the end, I wanted to thank you all. Now we will take on question and answer session, and you can connect with me by my mail id saurabh.mehta@vat.edu.in, or you can also connect with me on my website. And nowadays I'm a bit active on my LinkedIn profile, so if you wanted to join with me on LinkedIn, so here also this QR code, you can simply scan it, and we can be connect on LinkedIn. Now these are some of the points I wanted to show you. One more example, I mean one very interesting document. There are, we call it as a like a 50 cat tools. What is cat tools? It's a computer aided technological tools we have. So I will show you that part, one document, what different kind of exercise you can do, and different thing that basically you can make sure that your assessment or other, I mean ideas you can take it. Like, I mean, out of this, many of the techniques we are actually using, just for example, minute paper, memory matrix, then we take like a focused listening, then we ask them to like one second, I'll just take you, yeah, word journal, what is that, then concept map, that we ask students to I mean concentrate on a regular basis. Then there are several like a methods. So some of the good 50 methods, these are actually mentioned over here. Maybe you can like pick up whichever is best suitable for your course and for your particular like a class, right? So in this way you can utilize all those stuff, and I'll share my PPT as well as this file with all of you. So that's what I just wanted to show you. And now maybe we can come back to again question answer session. So if there is any particular like a question or query, maybe I can try my best to solve that one. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your session was quite informative and it is very helpful in this era where we are teaching in an online era. It is very informative. Now I request any participant who has got any question can please go ahead. You unmute yourself so that you'll be able to like whatever the doubts which you all are having will be it will be clarified.
Yeah, so even at the latter part, in case if you have any particular like a question or a query, you can always drop a mail to me, and maybe we can now officially say that session is over. And so thank you very much, Khatik sir, and then entire Khalsa Academy team for giving this opportunity. And
Thank you, sir. And we are also thankful that you had spared your time with us. Thank you very much. It was a very useful session. Now, as we know it, like we are going into this pandemic, so we are teaching the students to the online mode, how to engage them, how to teach them. It was very informative and it will be very useful for us. Thank you very much, sir.
yeah, thank you. So may I leave the meeting now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I wish
Sir, can you please, sir, stop your presentation so I can able to,
okay, okay. I just have to stop it.
in the
Okay, yeah.
meantime, can you please, everyone, just switch on their cameras, please. So I just wanted to take snapshot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is good. We all virtually can meet, right?
Requesting everyone to please switch on the camera. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Shared at 9:45. For tomorrow's session, the link will be shared at 9:45 a.m.